The direction my life potentially could have taken is the sky's the limit. I credit the upbringing that we had and the house parents who looked after us with being the person that I am today. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Being in the circumstances that we were, if it wasn't for those people, I have no idea where I would be today. I'm certain of this, I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't without their influence.
I mean, obviously there are adopted children that probably don't get along as well with their parents, but I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for them.
Human beings, a man, woman or child of the species Homo sapien, distinguished from other animals by superior mental development. Each has their own unique personal identity, which evolves over the course of a life. There are many factors, both in and beyond our control, that influence our identity. Our environment, life experiences, choices we make, our gender, culture, sexuality, social settings, and our family. A person's family can have a significant role in the shaping of their identity. This is because from birth, they are the first group of people a child identifies with. But as mature adult individuals, just how important is this experience of a family bond?
They have a very big impact because they basically shape who I am. Without them, I am nothing, really.
Well, my family were pretty broke, and so I feel like that is a big part of my identity, in a way, growing up like that.
I'm a really good person because of them. I believe I'm a good person because, my parents are really good persons.
Some of it I've had to shake off. It was not a very adventurous family I came from.
They're my parents, yeah, so they helped me become who I am.
I think they, from the time you're born, they have an influence on your life, and you become part of their value system.
Being good to society.
Nothing's easy, you got to work for what you get.
Honesty.
Eating all your food, I don't know.
Not owing money.
Love for all, hatred for none.
Just treat others how you want to be treated.
Really easygoing. I probably took that.
Kindness.
Everybody's important.
All what I achieved today based on the values my parents.
Without my sisters, I'm not funny. Without my mom, I'm not, responsible. Without my dad, well, I'm not here today.
But what if someone grew up in a non-biological family? How much can that impact a person? Does it really make a difference to someone's identity if they are not biologically related to their family members?
I was adopted since birth. I was 3 weeks old when my parents collected me from the hospital. So they got a phone call a couple of days after I was born and was told that they could come and pick me up. I'm turning 52 this year. I've been divorced for a while and I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and the girl being the youngest, who's turning 21 this year, and the boys are 23 and 25 this year. I'd always known that I was adopted. It was never a secret in the family at all. I was always referred to as, this is our special daughter, she was given to us as a gift. I never felt like I didn't belong in my adoptive family. I don't know if I would have been treated differently if I'd grown up in the biological family. I don't think so, because I spoke to my grandfather, my biological grandfather. He kind of said, I've wanted to hear your voice for 37 years. Which makes you feel like you would have belonged, whether or not you were, Dad wasn't around a lot. He worked very hard for the family. Friday night was always exciting because I was allowed to stay up until he got home from work. It was like, oh, it's exciting. Dad's coming home. I definitely think I'm more like my dad. Even though there isn't that biological connection, I think partly that's because that's just who I am. But for him, family was really important because he'd lost so many of his family. My dad passed away nearly 30 years ago, so I was only 23 when he passed away. I was devastated. We were close. He always had this way of making you feel special. I think they've influenced me in all of my aspects of my life. Value-wise, I think influence on family and how important family is and the family unit. And it doesn't matter if you're blood related or not. But family to me is people that love you and support you no matter what. And they're the soft place to fall. People come and go, but your family's always there, whether they're blood or whether they're not blood.
My name's Dave Byrne. I'm a plumber by trade, and I have 3 children and 1 wife and 2 dogs. I was 7 when we were placed in the home, and I think there were probably 30 maybe odd children there, very much in a sense like a family. When you went to school, it's like you had 30 brothers and sisters. You know, we've come through whatever we've come through, and that sort of sense of belonging together. We've got a common bond that we share because of the circumstances of our childhood. They split things up a little bit within the property there, and they moved families together. So we found ourselves with a new set of house parents called Ray and Elaine. Yeah, I guess they had probably the most effect upon us. We never called them mum and dad, but that's exactly what they were. And our children always referred to them as Nanny and Poppy. Our foster parents were the most amazing people you've ever come across. They were in childcare work like that for over 30 years. You know, you imagine having 12 or 13 teenagers and all the hassles that teenagers have in life. They just took it all in their strides. My experience growing up where we grew up in Yolanda was love and acceptance and being well cared for and looked after. That's what shaped and influenced me. Community and being involved in community has become really important for me, and that's come from Ray and Elaine, in subconsciously almost instilling that in me as a child. Because they gave and sacrificed, that's how that shaped me. I'm the sort of person who's willing to give and willing to sacrifice, because that's the only example I know. We're all raised with the same ethos and the same love, the same discipline, the same example. All of us had that, and it's what you choose to do with it is what shapes the person, and that's how it shaped me. And it's interesting because that's how it's affected me, but it didn't affect everybody like that. The kids that we grew up with didn't take on the same Christian values that I decided to, and that Ray, Elaine and others taught us, which I've always been confused about, because we were all given the same thing. Whatever love was given to us was shared equally. You know, everything was, we saw the same example, the whole thing. Growing up with no parents doesn't have to be a bad thing. Often it is, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I guess, again, for me, you know, life is about what you choose to make it.
A connection to family is fundamental to one's identity. Being brought up by people who love, respect and support you is the essence of belonging. It is clear that a person and their environment is far more important than where they came from or their biological makeup.